I'd like to yield 4 minutes to the sponsor of this bill, Austin Scott from Georgia.
The gentleman is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of H.R. 4910, the Veteran Cemetery Benefit Correction Act. If enacted, H.R. 4910 would require the U.S. Department of the Interior to provide outer burial receptacles, also known as grave liners, for veterans buried in cemeteries under the control of the National Park Service. Current law requires that the United States Department of Veterans Affairs provide an outer burial receptacle to a veteran buried in a national cemetery under the control of the National Cemetery Administration, which is a branch of the Veterans Administration. Additionally, the VA can provide a reimbursement if the family chooses to purchase a liner in lieu of the government-furnished grave liner. However, cemeteries under the control of the National Park Service are not covered by this statute, and neither the VA nor the National Park Services currently are able to provide this benefit for veterans buried in those cemeteries. The Veteran Cemetery Benefit Correction Act simply amends the law to require the Department of the Interior to provide an outer burial receptacle for each new veteran's graves in a national cemetery under the control of the National Park Services, just as would be provided if they were buried under the Veterans Administrations. This bill also provides for the reimbursement of a veteran survivor who provide a privately purchased outer burial receptacle for use in a National Park Service cemetery. Of the 14 national cemeteries controlled by the National Park Services, 2 are still active. Andersonville National Cemetery in Georgia, which my colleague Mr. Bishop currently represents, and Andrew Johnson National Cemetery in Tennessee. I'm pleased to have introduced this bipartisan common sense legislation alongside my friend, fellow Georgian, and chairman of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, Senator Johnny Isakson, to ensure our veterans receive equal burial benefits regardless of where they are laid to rest. It's now more important than ever to close the gap in benefits for veterans who are buried in cemeteries managed by the National Park Service. In doing so, we will ensure that all veterans and their families are receiving the benefits and respect they have rightly earned. I urge support from my colleagues on this bipartisan measure and common sense piece of legislation and yield the remainder of my time.
The gentleman yields.